Hey folks, and welcome back to the Kentucky Hot Wheels video series. I've actually got working on a couple of videos right now. I thought I'd go ahead and discuss a couple of things with you that we got coming up here in the next month or so. On the Jeep side of things, I've ordered the stubby bumper, the OEM stubby bumper for our Gladiator to replace the plastic bumper. And I've ordered it in parts because the stubby bumper itself is on back order for like 30 days. But yesterday the grill guard did come in. So we got one piece of the puzzle anyhow. And like I said, these are the Mopar parts. So hopefully they won't rust or give me any issues that like some of the aftermarket cheap Amazon parts did. So anyhow, again, we're waiting on the rest of that. On the die-cast side of things, years ago, it's been quite a few years ago, my wife and daughter were at an estate sale and picked up this Herbie die-cast. It is a Johnny Lightning, apparently licensed by or with Disney. It had some issues. It was missing the front bumper and missing a tail light. Over the years, I've been looking for replacement parts for it because it's a really nice car. One of the best die-cast Beetles I've seen. But I couldn't find any replacement parts for it. So a few months ago, we were digging through some of our totes full of die-cast cars, and what we come across was this. I already had it and had forgotten about it. So this is what it looks like new and in the box. So it had been stored away in a tote since probably about 2005, and I had just forgot about it. So what I'm going to do is take this one that has some issues, weather it up, and make it look like an abandoned Herbie. So that's the game plan anyhow. When I'm ready to do the next step, I'll bring you guys back. Talk to you in a bit. Okay, I think I've got this taken apart about as far as I need to go or really want to go. It's a very well made model. But I think this will get me started on the weathering process and help me decide exactly what it is I'm going to do. But that should be it for now. I'll bring you guys back when I'm ready for the next step. So wish me luck. I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, first thing we're going to do with the interior is I'm going to apply some, I think it's just a dark walnut, dark walnut stain, just to give it a little bit of age and texture and stuff. And again, there's no rhyme or reason as to how you do this. Just put it in there, rub it around. And of course, when it cures and dries, it'll be a whole different color and add a whole different element to everything. So don't be hasty, just let her rip. Let me finish this and I'll bring you guys back in just a second.
Nobody leaves.
Why?
All right, so basically what I'm doing is just spreading this around just for good coverage. A lot of this will be hidden when I'm done. I just want to spread it around to give it just a dirty, worn out look. And then what I'll do is go over it with the paper towel just to kind of wipe it down just a little bit. So you see, you kind of get the effect of how dirty it is. It's kind of odd. It's got the window cranks in the back, and of course the Beetle never had windows that crank down, so I thought that's kind of weird. But I'll go ahead and wipe this down, and we'll call that finished, and then we'll move on to the next step. I'll bring you guys back in a bit. Okay, so after many months, I'm back on this project. I want to get it done by Halloween. This is going to be my Halloween custom project. I'm not going to film everything. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, and then I'll bring you back after I've done it. The interior I've got pretty much nastied up pretty well using just a stain. And again, I did this months ago. What I want to do now is I'll take the Dremel and I want to cut a hole in the roof here. Then I'll place this back, the rag top, and then what I'll do is take the heat gun and kind of melt the top to make it kind of droop down on the inside like it's rotted away. I don't know if it'll work. If it doesn't, what I'll do, I'll end up using tissue paper and glue to replicate the top, but I've got to get the hole drilled in here first, and then I'll go from there. But hopefully the heat gun will be enough to melt the plastic and kind of make it drip, or down inside the vehicle. So I'll do that, and then I'll bring you guys back in just a second. Okay, so basically what I've done is just cut a hole in the roof here. Then I'll take the rag top, put it back on the roof, and I'll tape it around the edges to hopefully kind of keep the heat from pulling the edges into the center, and will hopefully kind of melt a hole and let it kind of sag right here in the middle. So let me get this tape down, get some heat to it, and I'll bring you guys back when I'm done. Okay, this is exactly the look that I wanted. So what I did after I taped it down, I took my torch and just kind of bumped it a couple times with the heat just to get it to kind of melt and kind of droop down a little bit. But that looks exactly the way I was wanting it to look. So now we can take the tape off. Yeah, that looks awesome. That'll look really good once everything's weathered and kind of painted a little bit to make it look like it's been sitting around for many years. I guess what I need to do next is, since I'd already done the interior, just to get the first coat of kind of nastiness and grime, I need to do these door panels as well. So I'll take the stain, use my brush here, and just kind of dab it on, let it sit for a while, dab it on, do it like 3 or 4 times, and then the last coat I'll wipe it off and kind of give it that dirty, grimy look. Hopefully it'll kind of turn out like the dashboard did. And then when I'm done, I'll do a wash on everything to fill in the cracks and everything to make it look like it's been sitting for 30 years or so. So I'll do that next, and when I'm done, I'll bring you guys back. Okay, what I've done since the last step is to give everything a coat of the OD green spray paint. This is just supposed to kind of like represent lichen and mold growing on the body. The back, I actually put a little dark, little black on. I want to make it look like the engine had maybe been on fire. Reconnected the housing for the tail light. I painted the running boards black. I haven't weathered them yet, but I will with some green paint to make them look like, again, the lichen or the mold growing on them. Same with the doors, just a rough coat to begin with, and same on the inside as well. Now, of course, this will be weathered more later on. This is just to give it the base coat of something that's been sitting out open to the elements for many years. That's what I want. But so far, I'm really pleased with the way the body's turning out, especially the rag top. How it kind of looks like it's deteriorated and kind of drooped inside the vehicle. I gotta clean up the headlights a little bit, or I go overspray. No big deal. But this is a good base to start with. And when I do the next step, I'll bring you guys back. See you in a bit. So later. And I think it's time to go ahead and start putting this back together. Most of the weathering will be done after it's put back together. I just wanted to get that base coat of green, mossy, Leica kind of stuff on the body and on the interior. Now I'll get it back together and we'll start adding some rust and some other details to make it look like it's been sitting for many years. So with that said, I got the glass back in, and you still see the glass looks pristine, but it won't when I'm done. I was trying a couple new effects here to kind of replicate the Leica and stuff, Lichen, and I think it really turned out good. So I'll do that more in the future on other projects. But for now, I'm gonna get this back together. We'll start rusting it up, weathering it up, and make it look like it's been sitting for a very long time. I'll see you guys in just a bit. Okay, as you can see, I've got everything put back together, and it's very raw right now. It's not nearly close to being done. So the next phase of this is adding some rust. And we'll start with the dark brown first. I'm just using some acrylic paint, a sponge brush, a regular brush, and some water. No rhyme or reason. You know, you make it look like you want it to look like it's as much rust as you want, as little rust as you want. It doesn't matter. So let me get started on that, and then I'll bring you guys back when I've got the first layer of rust applied. I'll quickly show you my technique for this before I do the whole thing. But basically, I load my brush up with some of the brown paint. Anywhere I want rust, I'll go ahead and dab it on there. Then I come back with my sponge brush and just kind of smooth it all out. You see how it gives it that surface rust look to it. But I'll do that to the whole thing here, and then I'll bring you guys back when I'm done. Okay, as you can see, I've got the first layer of rust on. I really like how it turned out. After I went over everything with the brown where I wanted rust, I hit it with a little light brown wash just to fill in some of the cracks and everything, to kind of make it look like the rust streaks are running and everything. But so far, I like the way it looks. For the first layer, that's perfect. See how it dirtied up the windows. Everything's kind of starting to blend now and look like it's been sitting outside for a very long time. So I'll let this sit for a while and fully dry, and then I'll come back with the next step, and we'll keep right on going. Talk to you guys in a bit. Okay, so it's a couple days later, and everything's had time to dry and cure, and I really like the way it's looking. There's parts of it are still a little shiny. Of course, everything will get a coat of matte clear when I'm done, but I still have to dust this and weather it some more. But as far as the rust, the surface rust and the deep rust, I'm done. I'm not going to put any more on here. I thought about maybe doing some things to the inside of the luggage compartment, but you're not going to see it, so it's going to stay the way it is. Same with the engine compartment. I did make this kind of look like you had an engine fire at one time, so I'm going to leave that the way it is. Of course, it's a little shiny, and I got to dull it up some, but I really like the way this is looking so far. As for the base, I really hadn't decided till yesterday or the day before of what I'm going to do with the base. And you know my philosophy, use what you have. So I found a couple pieces of 1x6, and the one was too short to use for the base, but the two together would be plenty big enough. So the other day I glued them together, and I've got these clamps on. So here in a bit, off camera, I'm going to take the clamps off, and if everything holds together, I want to put it through the router and route an edge on it to kind of dress it up. But this will be the base of the display. Something a little different than what I've done before. But like I said, I like to use what I have instead of buying a bunch of stuff we don't need. So with that, we'll cut this one short, and I'll bring you guys back when we're ready for the next step. I'll talk to you all later. All right, so it does look like gluing the two pieces did work. And I did run a router around it. It's not perfect, but it's just a display. This will all be covered anyhow. I did mess up a little bit here. I got some wood filler in there. I'll have to sand it and everything, paint it, and it'll be fine. For just a display, it'll work perfectly. And the beetle will set something like this when I'm done. So yeah, I think that's gonna work out pretty good. So when I'm ready to bring you guys back for the next step, I'm not sure exactly what we'll be doing next. I'll probably be working on the display, the base a little bit, and go ahead and dusting this up some. So when I'm ready, I'll bring you guys back. One other thing I am going to do before I quit for this evening, I'm going to put fence posts around the corner and the back here. I found this dowel that'll work perfectly for that. So I'll measure these out, drill the holes, go ahead and get them glued in place, and then I'll bring you guys back so you can see what I'm talking about. See you in a bit. Okay, so it's a couple of days later, and as I mentioned earlier, I used the dowel to create some fence posts, put them around the perimeter of the base. I found some of this old, I don't know what it is, like chicken wire or some sort of wire fence. I just cut it to size. I'll rust it up later and make it look old. Then I just got done putting the ground cover down. Of course, I'm using my own blend of backyard dirt and just some white glue and some wood glue as a base. Put the dirt over top of it and then give it a good spritz with some isopropyl alcohol and then some watered down glue. That'll turn really hard like concrete when it's done. So I'm gonna have to let this sit for a day or two, at least overnight, to harden up. And then my next step is to place the beetle where I want it, somewhere in here, and then figure out what I'm gonna do over here. So there's still a lot to do to the beetle as far as weathering it, dusting it up, making it look even older, but that'll be in the next step. So the base is coming along good. I didn't want to get too far ahead without giving you all an update. So this is where we're at, and I'll bring you guys back when we're ready for the next step. See you in a bit. Okay, one more quick thing before I finish for today. I went ahead and got the beetle placed where I want it and glued down. It'll cure with the base and everything. This stuff here is just dried clumps of grass that I saved earlier in the year. I just kind of threw in my wheelbarrow. Still had dirt on the bottom of it. And you can cut it up and kind of give it that dead bush, viney kind of look. So I'll put some more of it out once I figure out exactly what direction I'm going to go. But it really adds a good element to the diorama. So far I'm really happy with it. And I will bring you guys back when I'm ready for the next step. Okay, I know I'm kind of speeding through this process a little quick because I'm under a time crunch to get this complete. But if y'all have any questions about the technique I'm using or materials or anything, just leave them in the comments below and I'll definitely answer. But like you've heard me say a million times before, I'm a use what you have kind of person. And I try to get things off the shelf and use them. So I'm working on pumpkins now. This is one. And all this is a styrofoam ball that actually come off a Christmas wreath that was painted red to look like, I don't know, a cherry or something. But I'm gonna make it a pumpkin and put a stem on it and everything. I'll probably do 2 of these. So that's what I'm using for the pumpkin here. On this end of the diorama, I decided to put in a rock. And I still have greenery to add to this, kind of blend everything in. But it's coming together very nicely. And as I mentioned before, this is just dry grass out of my yard where we did some gardening. I said this year, it was actually last year. I just put it in my wheelbarrow and let it dry up. I also printed out a couple signs that I'll put on the fence in various places. No trespassing, private property, whatever. And I've got them glued to this cardstock here, just packaging off something. And then I'll cut them out once the glue is cured and add them around the fence in various places. But that's where I'm at right now. I think I'm going to call it a night. Maybe put one more coat of paint on this pumpkin here and give this some more thought about where I want to put some greenery at, and the dusting, weathering of the beetle, which is now glued down and secured to the base. I'm going to rust up the fence a little bit and make it look a little older. But it's coming together nice, and I'm very happy. Again, if you have any questions about anything I'm doing, just leave them in the comments below, and I'll be sure to answer them. And also, I've done these for a long time. They usually don't get a whole lot of views because a lot of people aren't into this. But if you are, be sure to give the video a thumbs up, share it. If you're not subscribed to our channel, I'd appreciate it, if you took time to do it. That kind of motivates me to keep doing this in my spare time. To me, when I do this, this is a stress reliever, and anybody can do it. I'm not the greatest, but I enjoy doing it. So again, any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll be sure to answer. I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, so I think we're just about ready to wrap this one up. Did a few things off camera to go ahead and get everything completed. Added some greenery here. These are the pumpkins that I was working on the other day. I really like the way they turned out. And added some little vines to them to make them look like they're growing, of course. Added the signs that I showed earlier. Rusted up the fence a little bit. And I think there's a good balance between old and new, green and brown, rust and nastiness and all that good stuff. So everything is secure now. The only thing I have left to do is to give everything a few coats of matte clear, just to dull it down a little bit more. But like I said earlier, I've been working on this for months, and every time I would do something, something else would come up, and I just didn't give it as much attention as I wanted to. I always like to do a Halloween fall theme custom, and they're usually the 1/64 scale, but this year a little bit different since I had this one sitting around and I've been wanting to do it anyhow. Like I said, I'm no expert at this. This is what I do to relieve a little stress every now and then. I like to throw a custom in. I know our channel, most people come here for the VW stuff and the Jeep stuff, but I like the custom stuff as well. We collect Hot Wheels, if you didn't know that, hence the name Kentucky Hot Wheels. Actually, we collect all kinds of die-cast and all kinds of pulp culture things. You can look below in the videos and see our Hot Wheels room, where we've got about 1/3 of our collection displayed. But we have all kinds of pulp culture things down there, and I'll probably do an update on it once the weather changes and I change some things around down there. I'll probably do an updated video on it. But for now, we're going to call this one complete. Like I said, I'm going to put a couple coats of matte clear on everything, and then at the end of the video I'll throw in a few pictures to show you the end result. But I really like how this looks. It's definitely got that fall Halloween theme with the pumpkins and everything, and like I said, everything is secure. It's not going anywhere, and I think it's a good balance. It's bigger than I usually do, but I really like it. Where in the hell I'm going to put it, I don't know yet, but I'll figure out something, and I'll show you a picture of that as well. But anyhow, if you made it to the end of the video, I certainly appreciate it. Please be sure to give the video a like. These customs don't get enough likes for me to really be motivated to keep doing it, but I really want to. So give the video a like. If you're not subscribed to our channel, take a moment and subscribe. We'd certainly appreciate it. Share it. Share it with your friends or whatever. And be sure to leave a comment. Let us know what you're into, that kind of thing. We got a Jeep video coming up pretty soon, hopefully before the first snow of the winter. And with that, we're going to call it quits. Stick around for a couple of pictures of the finished product, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.